Oh my goodness, I think I need one of those. I'm kind of a klutz. One thing else I don't know a whole lot about, and that's how to take care of my vehicle. And that's why we've called in Brian Bowersock from the West Auto Group. We're talking about fuel pumps today. And I believe in the past I have had a fuel pump replaced, but I couldn't tell you why. But I do remember it was expensive.
I will tell you this, if you own a car, and a newer car, something like 96 or newer, you're probably going to end up eventually replacing a fuel pump on a car if you drive them long enough.
What exactly does the fuel pump do for us? Why do we need it?
Well, that's a great question. So the fuel pump gets the fuel up to the injectors on the vehicle so that the engine can continue to run. So without the fuel pump, if it stops working, the car stops running, you stop moving, it's a done deal at that point.
And I was reading, this is one of those things where you're driving along, you make a quick stop, everything seems fine, you turn it off, and then when you go to turn it on, nothing, it's dead.
Correct. It's sometimes crazy. And what happens to them often is internally they wear out, the little rotors in them, and they'll stick when they're hot. You turn them off, the car won't restart, and that's the beginning problem of fuel pump failure.
Okay. And this table, these are fuel pumps that you've replaced this week alone.
Yeah, actually 3 of these fuel pumps were this week, so that's why I decided, you know, we should probably talk about fuel pumps. It's a good time to do so. The fuel pumps are now electronically controlled by the computer of the car and the fuel pump assembly. But what we also wanted to mention is back years ago, we used mechanical fuel pumps. And they lasted a long time until the diaphragm leaked in them pretty much, so they'd go a long way. Now with the electronic fuel pumps, they're mounted in the tank, so when they fail, the cost of replacement is a lot higher, a lot more labor involved to do so, and the parts are more expensive. You can see they're quite a bit more intricate.
How spendy? How much are we talking here?
It can vary on cars. You can run anywhere from $300 to $400 up to $1,500, depending on the type of vehicle and what's related to it. Yeah.
Are these ever covered by a warranty, either the manufacturer warranty or an extended warranty, or is this kind of one of the things that it's like brakes and oil change, it just happens?
They are not wearable items. That's brakes and oil changes, things like that. But they are usually covered by the manufacturer all the way up through that warranty. But as we know, most manufacturers' warranties are 50,000 miles or so, 60,000, and they tend to fail after that. Usually we see in the 100,000 mile mark.
Okay, so I mean, we're quickly running out of time, but you have some tips to get the most miles out of our fuel pump. 2
real great tips. They're cooled by the fuel in the tank, so always keep 1/3 of a tank or more. Don't keep running it on empty or putting $5 in. And the second thing is replace your fuel filter on the recommended intervals, usually around 30,000 miles. It reduces stress on the pump, and therefore you will get more miles out of the pump.
Okay, so my dad always told me half a tank, but you're saying...
Well, a minimum 1/3, I'm saying. We see a lot of people these days put $5 in, drive, put $5 in, drive. So don't do that.
1/3 of a tank and replace that fuel filter. Can I do that myself?
You could possibly on some vehicles. Some it's more difficult.
Call your auto guy.
It's important.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here as always.